Alright, welcome back to NewZeroland. It's time to do a service on the Energica, so we're going to go to a ride to the bike shop. The quietest ride on 2 electric bikes. Okay, so what's the deal with servicing the Energica? I thought electric bikes were zero maintenance. NewZeroland, you've deceived us. So yeah, with the Zero, there isn't much to do at all. Everything's air-cooled and it has a belt instead of a chain. On the Energica, it's a bit more extensive and expensive. It's chain drive, so you have to clean it and lube it, but the big thing is that the motor and gearbox are liquid cooled. So after the first 1000 Ks, you have to do an oil change, and then after that, it's every 10,000. Just switch to metric, it's so much easier. Coming from a Zero, the idea of oil changes just doesn't make sense. It seems ridiculous, and I'm not really looking forward to it, but it's the price you pay for performance. At one point we had the lights to ourselves, so we decided to do a little drag race. Up to the speed limit. I completely spaced on the lights, and Jen got the jump on me. But it was so fun that we decided to circle back and try again. This time I got her, but she stayed in the mirror the whole time. It was pretty eye-opening how closely matched we were, for a 5-year-old Zero SR to keep up with a brand new Ego. I'll talk more about this in the future, but here's the thing. You can only do so many of these full throttle runs on the Zero before the motor gets too hot. The Energica can do this kind of thing all day long, and that's because it's liquid cooled. So even though I'm not a fan of oil changes, I'm a fan of this upgrade, and the service doesn't look too complicated, so I'm going to try and do it myself. Not like I really had a choice, the closest dealership is over 7,000 Ks away in Indonesia. Anyway, got to the motorcycle shop, checked out all the new gas bikes, some pretty sweet KTMs, just no electrics. It's almost like people don't know that they've come out already. For the service, I really wanted to get some swing arm spools, or bobbins, or whatever you want to call them, so I could put the Energica up on a stand to work on it. Energica sells their own spools, but I forgot to order them and ran out of time, so I just bought some RNGs locally. The only thing you have to do to get these to work is use some washers to space them out so they clear the swing arm. Easy peasy. Getting the bike up on the stand though is definitely a 2-person job. Unless you're a pro or freakishly strong, ask Jen to help. Okay, time for a service.
The brake drums are shot and you need a new transmission.
What? All I wanted was an oil change.
First things first, drop the belly pan. It's just a bunch of 3mm Allen bolts. Then you can angle the kickstand to get out of there. But remember to put the kickstand back down so you don't forget and accidentally drop your bike. Not like I know from experience. Now you can drain the oil into an oil pan and not your belly pan. So on the right side of the bike you have the gearbox. Don't worry, it's just a reduction gear, not something stupid like a Bramo. This is where you fill it with new stuff, and this is where you empty the old stuff. Also here at the bottom. Take out the filler cap first, and you'll see it has a crush washer on it. That'll need to be replaced, because it's crushed. Then make sure your pan is ready and remove the gearbox drain plug. Not a whole lot of fluid is going to come out of this one, but even so, make sure your pan is big enough to hold about 1.5 liters. And wear gloves. This video is going to get messy. You can put this dead crush washer with its friends. The drain plug has this little magnetic top that collects little bits of stuff that could harm your gears or whatever, so clean that off. This is why you want to do a service at the first 1000 Ks, because it's a new bike so you want to check on it pretty early and get all the gunk and stuff out. Next up, the sump plug. This is where you really want to use gloves. Just about a whole liter of bike blood comes out of here. Same deal, remove all the magnetic gunk and take off the crush washer. Or just leave it there. Then you can empty your pan into a bottle of Coke and tell the president it cures coronavirus. Now the sump cover has to come off. There are 6 bolts to remove, all with varying difficulty. These are 4mm Allens. This one in the middle, super tricky to get out. You need a really long, really skinny 4mm, and the socket I had was too big, so I had to get creative. And keep track of where your bolts go, because as usual, they're all different sizes. But now the sump should be free. It takes some force, but you should be able to just pop it off. Looks like this bike had a taste for human flesh. So just like cleaning off those little magnetic drain plugs, it's important to clean this mesh filter so nobody knows about the human flesh. If you unbolt it and wipe off all the blood, you can also shoot brake cleaner through it, and that makes it all sparkly. Make sure you wear gloves. Now it's good as new, so put some Loctite on the bolt and torque that to 10 Nm. Again, I'm just going to keep using metric. While the sump is off, you should probably replace that gasket too. The Energica parts guru Chris sent over a bunch of new gaskets and washers to replace the crushed ones. These will go on soon. Okay, now put the sump back on. If you line it up, you can just give it some wax. Call up a buddy who has a torque wrench, and then torque all these bolts to 7 Nm. Put the drain plugs back on with their new fancy washers, and then torque those to 25 Nm. Now it's time to put some new fluid in. Energica recommends Deck 6 automatic transmission fluid, and the gearbox only takes half a cup of it. I used some of Jen's Tupperware. Don't tell Jen. And since the filler holes aren't angled, you'll need a funnel with a bend in it, or you'll make a mess. You can check on your progress in this little window. Looks good to me. And then you put about 1 liter of fluid into the motor, and the filler cap is right here. To get to that, you have to remove everything. For this one, we decided to make our own bendy funnel, because this is a lot of fluid and I already spilled enough. Drink up, buddy. Torque it back up and spend the next half an hour admiring the engineering marvel of how all the body panels fit together while hiding almost every bolt. Italian design at its finest. I still need to put the belly pan back on, but that's pretty much it. We did it, guys! Alright, holy crap, that took all day, but here it is, all done. So if you live on an island a million miles away from a dealership and you want to try yourself, then it's not too hard. It just takes forever, just taking off all the fairings and plastics and finding all the bolts and torquing and whatever. It's not too bad. But if there's a dealership nearby, just have them do it. It's such pain. So anyway, now I can ride it for another 9,000 Ks before doing it again. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.